Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. A little pre-recorded session that I'm going to put on the YouTube channel is Mike the Hammer Glunk Part 2. I've been teasing the Part 2 of this, Mike, for a while. I'm trying to get more subscribers onto our YouTube channel. I'm actually giving away a Yeti cooler when I get to 250 subscribers. So I'm hoping this puts us over the top. Maybe if we get 300, Mike will throw in like a bunch of beer to put in the cooler or something. Yeah. Even though he doesn't drink, he'll still buy it for you guys. Yeah. So welcome, Mike.
Hey, thanks for having me, Rob.
Again, for those of you that watch part 1 of this, you know the relationship that Mike and I have had going back, I don't know, whatever, 20, 30 years. And just both of us, I think the passion for the industry has fueled our friendship, right? It's like we can call each other anytime and talk about either family, but a lot of times it always bleeds into work somehow. And I think that it's kind of what's the right word for you being able to, like, you know, Mike will Skype me or text me like, hey, just hit the mill again, right? So he's feeding some of the stuff to me. Just had my best month, just did this, that sort of stuff. It never goes away, Mike, no matter how high you get, the thrill of saying I hit another plateau. I've hit another, right, whatever it may be, goal for you.
Yeah, I just actually hit a 1.266, which is my highest month ever.
Which is, so that would have been
last
August.
Month. Yep.
Okay, awesome. Congratulations.
Thanks.
But it never goes away, does it? That passion or the thrill to
you want more. You just it's the thrill of it. You just keep, once you get going, I call it a flow, right? So during the daytime, you're working, and if you're having a good day, your flow can't be messed up, right? So it's the thrill of just getting more and more out of the day. That's what really gets me going through throughout a work day. And the problems that come along with it. I mean, they're obviously, you sell $1 million in sales, you have $200,000 in problems, right? But, the biggest thing I tell people is you can't let those problems get to you. You have to push through them. You can't let them mess up what you're doing. You just keep going.
So you're anticipating a certain percentage of issues.
Yeah, it's that is a known fact in our business that you're going to have 20%. You're going to have 20% of your sales have an issue with, whether it's an adjustment, a failure, a return. Well, no matter how it goes, you just have to fix it. And I always tell people, look at it this way: if a customer refuses a part, don't look at it as a refusal. Look at it as the opportunity to sell them another part, right? So, all right, I'm sorry, this one bad. I have another one. Let me send it to you tomorrow. Don't look at it as
again. Hold on. Say it again. If there's a return, I look at it as what?
So if there's a return, you just look at it as the opportunity to sell them another part. You don't look at it as a return. You just say, all right, this sale transaction, whatever you want to call it, didn't go smoothly. I have another one in stock. I'll have you one tomorrow, whatever the case may be, and just get them another part. You can't, sit there and cry about it all day long, because you're just gonna mess up your whole day.
Right.
And if it's one of those deals where you can't replace the part, it is what it is. You apologize, and you follow up the next day and see if there's anything else they need. You don't let go. You just keep going forward. The more you hold on to that problem, the mood you're going to get in throughout the day, you're definitely going to feel it in your sales, and the customer is going to feel that. I don't think there's one customer in my life that's ever heard me in a bad mood. No matter what happened from the previous call, the next call is always good. The radio's playing, I'm singing. Everybody knows. If I'm not singing when I'm answering that call, they ask me, what's the matter? I'm nothing. I'm just thinking.
Well, it's funny you say that, because I did, again, we're pre-recording this and I'm not going to play it for a couple weeks, but I did a little quick 5 tips thing yesterday on Facebook. And my first tip was tone, right? You're talking about your tone, your happy tone, right? What am I doing to start this call off in the right way, the what's the right word? Atmosphere, so to speak. I'm making it a happy call as opposed to.
It could be fake. I mean, I answer my phone so stupid. It's like, hey, this is Mike with this stupid, corny voice. But because you know what, people love that. They want to hear that. They don't want to say parts. Hey, going on? Oh man, I'm in a bad mood. My wife's mad. They don't want to hear that. They got their own problems at home. They want to have some
Right.
good time with you.
Right. And I think that's part of the relationship part of it, even to what I do, right? So now I'm coaching, right? As I love the word coaching, right? I always say it. I hate consulting. I coach salespeople now. That's what majority of what I do. I do have some other clients and things, but what I'm doing is the coaching part. And part of it's entertainment, Mike. Part of it's keeping them intrigued and keeping them and wanting to come back for more. I'm wanting these customers to come back to Mike because there's value in Mike. What I say, and I want you to elaborate, is you're not in the parts business, you're in the relationship business. The relation is built on the value of Mike. Talk about that, how you do that, how you've mastered that.
Just being personable to customers, asking about how their day is. And listen, this doesn't have to go. I know we're all busy. So there was like, oh, how do you have time to ask how someone's doing? I said, listen, we all have time. It doesn't take very long to say, hey, how you doing? Your day was great, good. And if they start elaborating on their day, I might cut them off, say, listen, you know what, I'm super busy, but listen, let's talk tonight. And I'll make a note and I'll call them tonight if you really want to talk to me. I talk to many of my customers after hours just to see how they're doing. If I can't talk to them during the day, I make it personal with these guys. I know most of my customers. I know their wives' names, their children's names, how many children they have, how long they've been married. I mean, I get, after I build a relationship with some people, I take it to the personal level. I have customers that know my wife and my children. My daughters actually are friends with some of their children now, and actually been out to dinner with them. So that's the type of relationships I build with these customers. Not all of them. You're not going to get that with everybody, but you're going to get that with a handful. And those are the customers, when you get that personal relationship with these customers and you get to that level with them, when you bring them, this is the best part. When you bring them a damaged door, they feel bad calling you for an adjustment. So they just fix it. So it's great. They feel horrible. Or if they do call, they're like, hey man, I'm really sorry. This screwer's got a little damage on it. Can I get a little help? And you don't feel bad. There's no argument there because the guy never calls on anybody. And you can actually look at those accounts and look at their return rate. And they're actually lower than most because of that type of relationship you build with those people.
Yeah. So I want to play devil's advocate for a second because, again, I train these kids. I'm sorry, I'm old. But these men and women, right? And right, they're going to come to me and say, well, what do I do about the asshole, right? What do I do to the jerk customer? Everyone's a jerk or the dumb customer. I really get upset with the dumb customer line because are we, I think we put the customer in the dumb category way too fast, maybe by an accent, maybe by they just don't know what ratio their rear end is. I've owned 12 trucks. I don't know the ratio in one truck that I've ever owned.
But that's a salesperson job to figure that out, right? So when a customer, first of all, when you especially we'll take a rear, for instance, customer calls and asks me for rear differential, I'll say, let me have your VIN. Goes Pinnacle, Comp 9, there's all the other places you can get to. I start right off there. Just go with the VIN number. It's easier than trying to go back and forth and ask a million questions. Just start with the VIN. Okay. And to be honest with you,
your customer, what do you do? So you're happy, Mike. You're from New Jersey. So you answer the phone singing Bon Jovi or Springsteen or something, right? So you're singing and you get the grumpy guy who's pissed because his car's broke. What do you do to do you literally be like, dude, I'm sorry you're so angry? I mean, what do you do?
Yeah. Oh, I just keep being happy. I'm like, let me see if I can help you out. Let me get your VIN. You know what? And I'll say, hey, real dude, it's not that bad, man. It's only a car. Let's get it fixed. We'll figure out what you need. We'll get the cheapest price possible if that's what you're looking for. Unless you're looking for something with super low mileage with a warranty. I said, we'll take care of it. Don't worry about it. You call the right place. Let me get your VIN and let me see what you have.
Yeah.
And that's what I do. Everybody says I got a jerk off customer. I'll tell you a quick story about a place called a body shop in North Haledon. The guy would call in constantly. No one answers. No one take his call. He was a miserable asshole. They would just keep rejecting his call. So finally I pick up the call. I'm like, Ben, listen. I said, you've been going around the office for 10 minutes. He goes, I know what's going on. It's busy. I said, no one wants to talk to you. I said, you call, you yell, you refuse half the parts. I said, they're not going to deal with you. They don't want to deal with you. I said, so guess what? We're going to change something today. I'm going to start doing business with you. I'm going to give you my direct line. You're going to call me. We're going to work together. I'm going to help you. You're going to help me. If I bring you a damaged part, we're going to fix it if it's repairable. I'm going to pay you to fix it. I said, but yeah, got to stop yelling. You got to stop cursing at people. They don't like it. You know, if I called you every day and cursed at you, would you think I'm an asshole?
And tell me what happened. So what, did you break them?
He spent $20,000 last month.
Right. Sometimes I thought that honesty, and what I call that is the uncomfortable conversation, right? Many salespeople aren't comfortable having the uncomfortable conversation, right? And again, maybe just not even customer to customer, right? Anything in your life, if you think about, you're so nervous about having to tell someone something, it's uncomfortable. One, it's never as bad as you think it's going to be, ever, right? And two, with a customer, to me, I've always felt honesty is the best policy.
Yeah, I mean,
right? I know that's cliche.
You'll have customers that you can't break, and they're just always going to be that way. I had a customer, and listen, everybody I do business with, I got to be honest with you, I like. Okay, I'm fortunate where I surrounded myself with people I enjoy doing business with. There was one customer, and God rest his soul, he died 2 months ago, and I fired him. I literally said, "Listen, Steve," I said, "I can't take your abusiveness anymore. I've been dealing with you for 20 years." I said, "And every time there's a problem, you berate me with words and abusiveness." I said, "I'm not dealing with it anymore." I said, "Listen, there's many other yards out there who will gladly take your business." I said, "I'm just not one of them anymore. I can't deal with it anymore." I said, "You're the only guy I do business with that I don't like. You know, I like you as a person. I can't stand you during business hours." I said goodbye, and I didn't hang up on him. I said goodbye. He emailed me an hour later, apologized, said I needed a good ass kicking, and we started doing business again, no problem. Yep. And he was
some of the best ones are the ones you fired. When you're straight and honest with them, it turns around.
So I mean, it's you know, I try to surround myself with people I like to do business with. Do you get those people that that are assholes? Sure, you do. You know, they're hard to do business with. Sometimes you can break them, sometimes you can't. I will try. I got to be honest with you. The competitiveness in me, I will try to break that customer. I will try to make him see it my way.
Well, again, even with your aggressiveness that you have, right? You're a hard person to not like, right? Because of you have a kindness factor involved in you. I was a little weak on the kindness factor at times in my life, right? But you weren't, right? We all know, we've got some prior guys that were good friends of us that were big boy guys in Jersey, right? That maybe aren't in the business anymore. And you know who I'm talking about. He didn't have the kindness factor, right? You also have that because you talk about it. I start everything off with my good tone. I'm happy. I'm singing. I'm trying to be happy and friendly. And I stick with it the whole time, no matter what the customer is. That makes a difference. That is the key. And I think, Mike, and if I'm wrong, that keeps you mentally in a good space. If you're allowing those customers to get in, to suck you into their, oh, it's another Monday, or I'm living a dream, all that BS. If you allow your customers to bring you into that, instead of you being positive, happy, and bringing them into your happiness.
Yeah, I love on Mondays when a customer calls me and goes, "Oh, it's Monday." I said, "I know, isn't it great? We have 4 more days of this." I started the day off with a little Billy Joel. I said, "I'm rocking and rolling. What do we need?"
And again, I'm sure most of them laugh like I just. That just
it
lightens it up.
Yeah, I'll say, and I'll start singing the Piano Man or something just to change their tone a little bit,
I love it.
You have to be the advocate on the phone call and try to get them to come to your side, right? If you're grumpy, they're going to be grumpy, right? But if you can be as positive as you possibly can and be happy, believe it or not, their persona will change. They won't be as miserable on the phone when you're talking, whether it's Monday morning or not, and they didn't have their coffee yet.
Right. I totally agree. And I think being able to say to someone, "Why are you so miserable?" right? You know, those types of things. There's a lot of unhappy people that you talk to. And I don't think a lot of them, I say it all the time, Mike, and I know you'll agree with me. I am so blessed to be in this industry and be doing what I'm doing right now and everything I've done through all the times. I just enjoyed it. Were there some bad days? Of course there's some bad days, but I mean in general, look what a couple, non-college graduate punks from New York and New Jersey
Accomplished.
have been able to accomplish, all because of this industry.
This industry is great. I got to be honest with you. I am so fortunate. I tell people every day, I am fortunate. Don't get me wrong. I work hard, but I am fortunate that I was in this business and I started this business at a very young age. And I look down, believe it or not, I look down to this business when I was a 14-year-old kid. Okay. And
Yeah, you tell your father's story. I remember you telling me in the
I'll
last
tell you,
one.
I bless him every day. God rest his soul.
Yep. And I bless all the people that helped me along the way, because there's a lot of people that helped you and
Of
I.
course, yeah, I didn't do it myself, you know. I had
But we worked hard.
Yeah. I had, Howard Nussbaum to help me train. I had, Tony. I was fortunate that Tony was willing to put me through, pay for classes and, and training to put me through there, and help me evolve into what I become today. So yeah, I definitely have a lot of people to thank for where I am. I definitely didn't get here alone.
And internally, right? Our peers, right? I mean, when we were both selling or doing our stuff, we constantly talked. We constantly bounced things off each other. So all those things, it's that work kind of family that you build, and surrounding yourself by, and I don't think either one of us have been afraid to ask questions. Right. And continue. So anyway, we wanted to keep this like to a half an hour. So we knew when we said a half an hour, it'd be 45 minutes. But let's talk quickly. I know you're at your home office, right? I think you bounce back and forth sometimes, but you got quite the setup behind you. You want to maybe tell all the people that are watching, saying, what the hell are you doing with all those screens?
All right, so I'm big on. So one of my biggest things is workflow. I talk about that all the time. I said you have to have a flow in work, right? So when you're working, you don't have to be closing this, opening this, checking this. I want to see everything right in front of me. So basically, I have my command center on the left side. I have everything I'm doing, like Pinnacle, all my work orders and stuff in the middle.
Explain command center to me.
So Pinnacle has a command center. So the command center has everything you're doing throughout the day. Like every quote I made, every work order I created, every resolution I have, every PO I created, all my sales, my RMAs. So everything I need in my world is on my command center.
So that's all Mike. It's just Mike.
It's just me. I mean, I can look at others, but I don't unless I need to. So it's all my stuff. So that's my command center. So I'm looking at that constantly to see what's going on, flipping through quotes. So I have to say, hey, I talked to this guy this morning. Let me go, let me call him back to real fast, see if anything happened.
Does that include open CODs as well? Is that on that?
Open CODs.
Okay.
Everything you need in your world to be successful is on there. Incoming cars. If you have, we have a lot of incoming cars, so you have a whole sheet of incoming cars on there, so you can see what we have incoming. If you're looking for a specific part, we have a car coming in, it'll be here Tuesday. So everything you need to be successful is on Pinnacle. So then, and you just have to use it. I mean, if you just plan on selling parts and not using any of that, then that's a problem. So then in the middle, I have my Pinnacle, my work orders, what I'm looking up parts. To the right hand side, I have, or the third screen over, that's going to be my car part messaging, and then my Skype messaging. Because I use car part and I use Skype. Believe it or not, I have shops on Skype. I probably have like 20 shops at least on Skype.
Heaven to have them on there.
They don't have to call me to tie up the phone lines. They can just Skype me. And you know what? Now I'm not pressed to answer them quickly. I have 5 minutes. They send me a message. They know it's going to take me 5 to 10 minutes to get back to them. Some of them just send me orders, say, hey, you priced me last week, quote number, blah, 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 send me. So it's not like I'm pressing to answer a call. So I try to divide my time evenly all over the place. Then to the right is my emails. And then up top is where all my pin chats come in. And then to the right is my Easy Runner, my warranties, anything I need to look up on Mitchell Crash Guide, because I use Mitchell Crash Guide a lot. I don't know if anybody uses this as a selling tool. I use this as a selling tool a lot, especially on bumper reinforcements. I'm the guy that takes the bumper reinforcement from 150 to 200 because guess what? I have them bolted to the car still, and the bumper stays are $80 a piece. And the first thing I ask when I ask the customer when they ask me for a bumper reinforcement, I said, "You need the bumper stays too?" They're like, "Well, yeah, but they wrote them new." I said, "Yeah, but I have them for only $200 with my reinforcement. It's going to save you 50 or 80 more bucks." Here's how I send it. So guess what? Now I just increased my cost, my profit on my bumper reinforcement. Yeah, same thing with door hinges. I like to check to see prices. If a customer calls me and says, "Oh, I need hinges on the door. I need hinges with the hood, hinges with the deck," I always check to see how much they are to see how much I can increase the part cost.
So that's Mike's world right there. All those screens, and you have the same setup at the office, I assume.
Pretty much. I 3 on top, 3 on bottom.
Okay.
Which I'm not sure if I like too much yet. So.
Okay. And then what about phones?
2 phones, one on the left, one on the right, and then my cell phone sits in kind of to the left center.
No headset? Or are you a headset guy?
Everything's speakerphone.
Oh, so everything's on speaker.
Yeah, I'm kind of in my own office anyway, so it doesn't matter. And some of my customers, funny thing is, some of my customers, they know each other, right? So if I'd be talking to, Chris at Ray Mees, and, I'll be talking to maybe Todd from Proline, and they know each other. And it's ironically, it happens often and like, "Oh, is that Todd?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's, "Oh, tell him I said hi." So then, of course, I don't tell him he says hi. I tell him something else,
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of build that whole relationship now with the 3 of them. Now I know 2 of them, and it definitely becomes a strong relationship. Now his friends, and it's pretty cool.
Well, it's funny. I one of those mornings, or should say early mornings, I woke up and I just start thinking work or things. I thought about, like, you get to the point where you're, the higher end guy, right? You've built this customer base. It's almost like you could take applications, like you need to apply to have me sell you parts. Right? If you want the best, I need an application to make sure you meet my standards. But it's kind of what you talked about at the beginning, where you said, everyone I deal with, I like. So you've kind of done that. You've weeded out to the people that you want.
Correct.
Or that are worth your minutes, so to speak.
Correct. I don't want a guy like and I'm going to be honest with you, I have a good time at work. So when someone says, "How do you do this 12 hours a day? How do you work 12 hours a day doing this?" I enjoy it. I surround myself with people I like to do it. So it's fun for me. I don't mind coming here at 7 a.m, turning on the radio and starting my day because it's fun. Okay. I don't care how many problems I have. It's still fun. So that's why I surround myself with all those people. And it doesn't stop there, Rob, to be honest with you. I said, I haven't been that aggressive in trying to cultivate new customers, but over the last year, I have my own. So let me back up 1 second. So I'm in my own phone group. Okay. So I don't have random calls coming in. Everything I do is just through my direct line or my extension. I'm not in any ring groups whatsoever. So I don't normally get random calls, but because we have so many salespeople in our phone network now, a lot of calls come in that people don't know what to do with. Somehow they transfer down to me. It happens. So in the last year, I probably get 15 random calls a day, which in the beginning I was like, "Why am I getting this?" But now over the last 6 months, I turned it around. I said, "You know what? I'm getting random calls. Let me do something with them." So I created a Microsoft Word doc, a worksheet. And every time someone called me new, I put it in there, and I put their phone number and the shop name and the name of the person. And I just randomly open that up throughout the day. I might call 1 or 2 of them. "Hey, I talked to you 2 months ago. I haven't purchased since, because I'll always leave my direct line no matter what. Here's my direct line if you need anything. Even if it's a private customer, I want to treat them with the same respect as, I treat my $20,000 a month customer, right? So I'll give this customer my direct line. Just because, if God forbid, hey, one day his daughter's engine might blow for $3,000, right? So I don't mind. He's not going to call me every day, but he might call me in 6 months from now. So I've been working on that's my new project. I've been trying to cultivate actually a couple more new customers to put into my group.
Mm-hmm. I kind of wrote down time management on here, but you kind of went through that, right? You just talked about your command center and what you're doing and how you're managing your time and what you're doing with your extra. And I don't think I think another key to your success is you just don't waste a lot of minutes, right? You're not out having cigarette breaks. You're not leaving to go to lunch, right? You're not doing those things. You're eating at your desk. Look, I don't know if I can't tell what that is. If that's WB Mason paper or a box of donuts.
No, that's my monitor stands. That's the perfect height. Don't even talk about that.
Okay,
everybody makes fun of those, but I'm very particular on how high my monitors have to be, and I couldn't find a stand. One's a little too high, one's a little too low. Sitting on the desk is too low. They don't adjust height, so that was the perfect thing.
Well, you don't want to be looking up, and you don't want, you're doing it all. It hurts after a while.
Yeah, I want to look straight on. No tilt, no this, no this. The top screens obviously have to look up, but they're not that often. Go back to time management real fast. So it's kind of crazy, and my customers even know this now. So if I ask them a question and they say, "Let me go check," I said, "Okay, go check," but I'm putting you on hold. They're like, "Well, I'm only giving you a minute." I said, "I'll only be 2." So then I take the next call. And same thing. If that guy says, "I got to go check," I said, "Okay, give me a second. I'm going to grab another call." I'm very respectful for people's time. I tell them I'm doing this. Okay, I don't just put them on hold. I'm saying, "I'm going to put you on hold. Give me a second." And I grab another call. And then I'll go back to Dylan. "You back yet?" And if they're not back, I put them back on hold and go to another call. So I never sit there and wait for somebody to give me information that's going to take more than 30 seconds. Because believe it or not, I can pick up a call, and if it's one of my good customers and they know they're busy and I'm busy, they're like, "Hey, I got this, 15 Fusion left rear door. They gave me 500 to spend." I trained my people to do this. Okay, I trained them to call me year, make, model, and how much they spending. I don't. You don't have to dance all the time, right? Sometimes you could just train your customers to do this. Well, they're trained. So if I can't get to the 500, I might have to bump them. Then I'll ask them where they found it. They'll tell me, and I'll go online. And sometimes I'll say, "Hey, well, that one has a little damage on it. If you want one with damage, I have plenty. I can give you with some damage for the 500. Or you want a clean one for 600. Most of the time they take the clean one for 600. So there's ways to talk through that. But that could take 30 seconds. So in 30 seconds, I could take a call, get an order, and still get back to the other guy. So it's all. And when you say time management, it's all about time management. You're using every second of your day. You're not just sitting there waiting for people. There's probably not 1 second of my day where I'm sitting there not doing anything. I don't sit back in my chair like this, fold my arms, and close my eyes for a second.
Wait, you're not on YouTube. You're not on Instagram.
No,
right? You're not shopping. You're not ordering sandwiches. You're not.
The only social media I have is LinkedIn, and I can't even tell you the last time I looked at it. Okay. I have no social media. Okay. No Facebook, no Snapchat, none of that crap.
Right. So you're not online. You're not looking around. You're not shopping for stuff. You're working. When you work, it's work time.
It's work. And everybody knows that. My wife knows that. My children know that. I go to work at 7. I come home at 6. They're my work schedules. Sometimes my wife will call me because I've been fortunate to work from home for the last 3 months. So my wife kind of likes it. She calls me and says, "Dinner's done a little earlier." I say, "All right." I run in for dinner. I say, "Okay, I'm going to leave my stuff up. I run in for dinner, eat dinner." So then what's nice about that is I get an extra hour to work because then I can squeeze it till 7 or 7:30, and she doesn't give me a hard time.
Right.
So because
again, hard time's the wrong word. She wants to spend a little time with her
husband. Yeah, that's true. It's not a hard, but
hard time's the wrong word. I'm trying to keep you out of that. You'll be sleeping in that house.
Yeah. Well, she said that. She says that to me many times. I'm going to put a bed in there for you.
Yeah, stay out there. Just send the checks out here. Keep the money coming the other way.
Exactly.
So I've had a lot of customers of mine, and I tease them and, the hammer this, and I talk about you or whatever. And they're like, "Can we hear a mic call?" And I said, 1, I'm not sure. But 2, I don't think we need to hear the call because to me, the call that you're handling now isn't as important as the relationship you've built. The success of what you've been able to do isn't about your phone tricks, so to say. It's
Right.
I've already built these customers, I've trained them, they understand what it is. And to me, it's the value button. This thing, there is a value to talk to Mike.
So
Right. So that to me is I don't need to hear your call. I need to hear and how you built that value.
because my call's true, they are won't be like everybody else's calls, right? Because
No,
of the
because
way
I've heard them. They're not.
But I can tell you this: for the random calls that I do get, I do go back into that whole sales mode again. I go back into that whole, hey, where are you calling from? When do you need it? What are you looking for? Are you trying to match color? Are you trying to get low mileage? Is this for your daughter's car? This is for your wife's car. Is it for a car you're going to flip?
And all my students, right, that are listening, I did not pre-up Mike and tell him everything that I teach you every day. Because what you're talking about that you just said is everything I preach every day. And did I tell you to say that stuff that you just said?
No,
Okay.
but that's how it comes, and every call's different. Okay, you can get a guy calling, you get the used car guy or the guy that flips a car once every 3 weeks, right, or every 3 months, right? So he's looking for an engine to put in a car, doesn't have to be low mileage, just has to run good, right? So he's looking for the cheap bottom of the barrel. But then you get the guy that calls for an engine for his daughter car that drives to college, 25 minutes each way every day. So he's going to want the low mileage motor with the warranty. So it's not about just picking up the phone, saying, yes, I have it, here's the price, and hope, and crossing your fingers that the guy's going to buy it, right? It's about talking through it with him. Okay, so it's for your daughter's car. So you're going to want something with low mileage on then because she's driving far. You want something with a good warranty. God forbid, 2 years down the road because she's only in her second year of college, then we could warranty for you. So that's the guy that you're going to want to give the 30,000 mile motor to with the 3-year warranty covering parts and labor, with the, $75 tow package, whatever warranty you offer. That's the guy that you spend a little bit more time with trying to find out what their needs are. Not just, I call it the hit and run, right? Price and go because the other phone's ringing, right? The phones are ringing, we got to pick it up and go, pick it up and go, pick it up and go. But that's not the case. You do have to spend some time with some people. It's really finding what their needs are. Even with the body shops, not all body shops are looking for the perfect part, right? Some guys want to make extra money. They don't mind taking a door with 2 hours damage in it. I love when I get a call from a guy in Brooklyn for a taxi cab. They're going to take my, 2012 Camry door that's a repaint with full of Bondo for $300 instead of $600 because they're putting on a taxi cab. So, every seat, I guess, has its ass, right? So it's the same thing. Every part. Did I lose you, Rob?
Yeah, I kicked off, but you kept talking. So I think it's awesome. Keep going.
All right. So I mean, it's really about finding out what your customers' needs are. I mean, and that's probably what a lot of the young sales people are missing because they're trained to, get to the phone, get to the phone, get to the phone. The phones are ringing. The boss is yelling in the background, "Hey, answer the phone! They're ringing off the hook." So your pressure is to get the phone, hang up, get the next call. And that can't always be the case. I mean, and there's going to be times where you're going to waste 5 minutes on the call. And unfortunately, that's this business in any sales type of platform. You're going to waste some time. It is what it is. Your job is to figure out which ones really aren't going to be a waste of time and which ones are going to be a deal for you.
Right. Which one can I sell?
And
right. Who's the shoppers and who's the buyers?
It's really about listening to the tone of people's voices. I'm really good at listening to people's voices and knowing I could tell when someone's guessing at something, just by the way they reply or if they hesitate or if they say I think, all kinds of things I pick up on all the time. If I ask a customer like for a gear ratio and they hesitate, I'm like, and then they give it to me, I'm like, dude, you are not guessing on me right now. He starts laughing. He's like, what do you mean? I said, dude, you just hesitated. I said, give me the VIN number. And 90% of the time they're wrong. So, it's all about listening.
And is the salesman smart enough to realize they looked it up online, maybe Carpart?
Oh, definitely.
They looked up the 373 that's 1,500, but they really have the 342 that's only 900. But can I still get the 15 for it? Is that what they looked up?
That is my favorite sale ever. People say, "Oh, the internet really killed us." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" So many times people go online and find the wrong part, and I'm like, "Yeehaw!" I had something 2 days ago. It was a transmission. They looked up the wrong one for $1,500. It was a tranny. I sold it to Amco. It was how was it? I forget what kind of tranny it was.
Don't say what it is. They might be watching.
Okay, it was a 200. They bought it for 1,500. I had it in for 200.
Because you asked them, what'd you find? What'd you see?
Which one you're looking at?
Right.
What stock number you're looking at? I love that.
Very rarely should we be saying the price. We should see, what are you seeing? Right? What have you found? What did you see?
I rarely say price unless the customer really forces my hand. If it's a good customer, but if they force my hand a little bit, I will definitely start higher, or I'll go. I hope they gave you like $500 or $600 for that, right? We might have it in there for $400, and they're like, "Oh no, they only gave me $450." I'm like, "Okay, fine, I'll do it for you." Could you maybe do $475? That's one of my biggest things. Always trying to get more money for our parts. That's like one of my biggest challenges every day. I always want to get more money for what we have it in there for.
And I know everyone that listen, Mike and I this is just like us having a conversation at night when we talk. This is what we do. And I think you guys can see from my expressions just how much I enjoy it. Right. I mean, it's that, Mike talks the same way I talk. We have a lot of very similar, ways that we go about it and thought processes. But I think the thing is that, Mike, we think about it and we've constantly changed. I'm not doing it the exact same way I did it 4 years ago. Or when you're constantly building up, I call it the this and that, Mike, right? Customer says this, I say that. Customer says that, I say this. And it depends on which customer it is, but you're constantly coming up with new key phrases. And by the phrases, I mean short, open-ended questions to say, well, what do you think? And what do you know? And when are you going to have it? And how many miles? And what's good? And what kind of warranty? And all those short questions, because you said it earlier, too many people hear the words the customer is saying, but they're not listening to the customer and what they're really telling them. They hear the words, but they're not listening to the words. Right? They hear, are they desperate? Is it the daughter's car? Is it this? Is it that? So it's a communication thing. So, and I don't want to go. I mean, we're hitting on the 40-minute mark here. We're coming up, but this is just screaming. I think this should be like one of these Fast and the Furious movies, Mike, where we're going to have like 12 sequels. I know everybody hopes that, right? So we'll keep them here and kind of say, hey, it's a Saturday morning. Mike and I are doing this. So I know I've got some golf to play this afternoon. You're probably going to work. I'm going to golf. But
just I want to work on Saturdays.
Little work. But I want to thank you again for your time, everyone. I'm not paying Mike to do this. He does this out of the kindness of his heart. And I think what it is he loves the industry, which he said we both do. And we want to share it with everyone. This is us kind of.
Listen, I'd love, I tell people all the time that, listen, when I started this 32 years ago or probably 32 years ago, it was a job, right? But I built a career out of this, right? And I'm doing very well for myself, knock on wood. I'm very fortunate in life. And I would love to see people succeed in this industry, because it really is a great industry. I mean, where can you go, right out of high school, start a sales job. And if you're really good, you can make 70, 80, 100 grand a year. I mean, it's what you can make really is up to you and how much, training you're willing to do, how much time you're willing to put into it. I mean, it is really up to
effort.
The person.
How much effort?
Yeah. If you put in it, you're going to get it out. I mean, I talk to a lot of guys because I still do, believe it or not, although we have a really large inventory, I still broker probably $300,000 a month in parts. So I still talk to a lot of guys out there. There's some really good salespeople out there, hitting the $800,000 mark, and they're hustling to do that, because they want it. At the end of the day, and I don't want to say it's all about the money. Money's a thing, but when you get a sales guy that's doing those kind of numbers, it's ego. They want to be the best. That's me. Like, listen, if I see someone coming up to my numbers, like, I hear people doing 800, 900,000. I'm like, okay, I want to know who he is. I don't know what he's doing, because guess what? I don't want him to catch me. I got to be honest with you. I want to be on the top of my game all the time. I don't want to go somewhere and say, hey, this guy over here, blah, blah, blah. He just crushed your numbers for the month. Because you know what? I don't ever want to hear that. I'm just, it's an ego thing.
What is your Skype? Is it Hammer? How do people find you on Skype?
Hammer OCAW.
Okay, so everybody that's out there, if you want to get a hold of Mike and say, hey, Mike, thanks for the video. I hope that everybody, again, I want everyone to, this is going to be on our YouTube channel, so I'll post it on Facebook for everyone to get over there. But please go to the YouTube channel and follow it. For me, please. I'm trying to get up to at least 250 subscribers. Mike has been the most popular video that I've done, right? I think we are up almost to 3,000 views between Facebook and YouTube. And this will be part 2. And if I can beg them, maybe we'll do part 3 and part 4.
Dude, you don't have to beg me. You just ask.
I know. So, but I got to tease it out a little bit, Mike, because this is a teaser thing, right?
Okay.
So maybe if we get to 250 on this one, I get to 350, we'll do another Mike video. But again, I enjoy this as much as I think as anybody else that's going to watch this. It's just fun to talk about this. This is what I love. And I think that I want all these other, like, I'll call them kids again. I want these kids to embrace this and realize what it can be for them and have the passion for what it is. I talked about it on my thing yesterday, right? Mike, you've already talked about it. Your why isn't the money. Your why is the ego of I'm the best, right? Well, what I'm doing,
it's the ego too,
right? But, the money's good. My why, I said yesterday, right? You see this picture up here? That's my family, right? That's my blended family of 8, right? My why is I'm trying to provide for my family and my kids and do this. Got 2 grandkids now. This is my why. But you know what? It's not hard because I love it.
Yeah.
I love doing it.
It's the old saying, find something you love and you never work a day in your life. And I'm sure you have really found what you love to do. I mean, I can't tell you in 30 years, there's not one day, and I'm going to tell everybody this right now. In 32 years, I've never called out sick. I've never called out of work ever in my life. Okay. Because I love what I do. I get up in the morning and I can't wait to walk into my office and start my day off. I mean, it's a thrill. It really is a thrill. It's like, I think about today. I'm like, what am I going to accomplish today? How many work orders can I write today? So I had my highest work order count last Tuesday, which was 174 orders in one day. So now I look
almost 20 an hour in a 9-hour day.
So I look at that religiously every night before I leave work. First thing I look at is, how many orders I wrote in a day. Then I look at what my sales were for the day. And to be honest with you, I never look at credits. I can't tell you the last time I looked at a credit. It's not something I even bring in my world. I don't do my own credits. I don't look at them. They're history. They're gone. I don't care about them.
Next.
I move forward.
Yeah.
If you're going to focus on your returns, then that's going to be a problem. Because you can't let that get into you. I don't let any of that in my world. No. That's all negative.
I think that's a great way to end it. Thanks, Mike, for being on here and doing this. I really appreciate it. I always love talking about this. We'll look forward to part 3, everyone. And reach out again or make comments on the YouTube page, because that is one thing I know Mike can get. One of his kids can help him get to YouTube.
I know how to get to YouTube. It's not that I don't know how to do it. I just don't.
I know. But let's put some comments on the bottom and just thank Mike for what he's doing for us and helping us and being one more extension of giving back. I kind of think, Mike, it's like you and I paying forward for all the things people helped us with.
Of course,
This is you and I paying forward to some other people saying thank you for the next generation when we're the old timers. So thanks, Mike, again. Everyone, thank you for tuning in and subscribing to the channel. And I'll see everyone soon.
Yeah, Rob. Take care.